In today's video, I'm gonna make protein bread using a super easy dough recipe and combine it with 6 different dairy products to find the best one in terms of taste and macros. The benchmark for my bread will be a small sesame roll that I bought from my bakery. I will try to make it taste as good with a similar texture, but with more protein. So let's prepare the first recipe. You are going to need a bowl placed on a scale and start with 100 grams of regular all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. Give this a whisk, and just like that, we've made our own self-rising flour that can now be used to make bread. The baking powder will make the bread fluffier without it having to rest for multiple hours like with yeast. However, you will need to add something wet to activate the baking powder, so I'm gonna add plain 1.5% yogurt. I will add the same amount of yogurt as flour, so 100 grams in total, and finally I will also add 1 teaspoon of 4 grams of olive oil. This will add flavor and make the dough a bit softer. Now combine everything with a spoon for about 30 seconds or so until you see that the dough becomes crumbly. That's when you can go in with your hands and start kneading and rolling the dough. This will take you another 3 minutes, I would say, until you've formed a dough ball. If your dough is too sticky, however, and this happens sometimes, I think it depends on the kind of yogurt you use, just place the flour on a scale and add another 5 grams of flour and then keep kneading and rolling. This makes sure that the calories are still under control, and once you've rolled a nice dough ball, place it back into the bowl and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, heat up your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 F and then take out a baking sheet, add 2 grams of oil on top and spread it off with your hands. This is better than using parchment paper, and I will show you why in just a second. Now you can place the dough ball on the sheet and cut it in half. This recipe makes 2 pieces of bread. If you want to make more, just keep the 1-to-1 ratio of flour and yogurt and you are good. I'm gonna form 2 round pieces that look like ice hockey pucks. Leave some space between them. Because of the baking powder, they will slightly expand. You can also, and this is optional, add some sesame seeds on top. I will add it just on one, and now bake this in the oven for 22 minutes. And look at that, it worked. I like the look a lot, to be honest. They've got some nice browning as well. I will place them now on a cutting board so they can cool down for a few minutes. The bread feels surprisingly soft, which I really like. They did crack on the sides, so that's something I will try to prevent with the next batch. The knife goes through it pretty nicely, and take a look at the inside. They look exactly like regular bread despite being 50% yogurt. They also feel very soft on the inside, and do you see the browning here? This is why adding the bread directly in the baking sheet is better than using parchment paper. It develops a nice crust. But finally, what about the taste? I can tell you that with plain yogurt, you barely notice any difference at all in terms of tanginess or that sour aftertaste yogurt usually has. For me, this is an absolute win, and the macros for this one are 240 calories with 8 grams of protein. Moving on to the next recipe, once again add 100 grams of all-purpose flour to a bowl, followed up by salt and baking powder. Give it a stir, and the dairy for this recipe will be fat-free Greek yogurt. This is a lot more protein than regular yogurt, 10 grams of protein per 100 grams, but also has a different texture and is more sour. Add 100 grams of Greek yogurt to the bowl, followed up by 4 grams of olive oil. Mix it with a spoon, then start kneading again. I can already tell a massive difference here. The dough is a lot harder to form than with regular yogurt. I guess it's because Greek yogurt is more strained and has less liquids. After the dough is formed, let it rest for 10 minutes. Spread out some olive oil in a baking sheet. Form the same flat pieces of bread, and this time I'm gonna cut 1 small line on top of the dough. That way the air can escape during baking and won't crack the sides. A bit of sesame seeds on one, and into the oven it goes for 22 minutes. These look even better than the plain yogurt ones, and as you can see, 0 cracks on the sides because all the air came out through the line on top. Nice! Let it cool down for a couple of minutes before we assess them. They feel quite soft as well, which is surprising because the dough was really hard to form. The knife goes through smoothly as well, and the inside looks basically the same as the plain yogurt version. It also feels fluffy and has a great crust. All good, but what about the taste? So you can taste the sourness of the yogurt, but it's very mild though. I really enjoy this one. I even think it's better than the plain yogurt one. The macros are 233 calories with 10 grams of protein. Next recipe, into a bowl add 100 grams of flour, salt and baking powder, give it a stir, and now we are going to add plain skyr. This is a dairy product that originates in Iceland. Technically it's a cheese, but it's used like yogurt because it tastes quite similar. It has basically the same macros as Greek yogurt. Add 100 grams into the bowl, 4 grams of olive oil as well. Now form the dough. It's quite hard to knead, same as with Greek yogurt, which I don't really like, but the Greek yogurt ones came out great, so we will see. Once you've formed a dough ball, let it rest for 10 minutes. Spread 2 grams of olive oil in the baking sheet. Again form 2 pieces of bread, cut a line on top, add a bit of sesame seeds and bake for 22 minutes. They look basically the same as the Greek yogurt ones, so that's good. I will let them cool down for 10 minutes before tasting them, but before that let me thank the sponsor of today's video, Hume Health, with its Body Analyzer Body Pod. This device is a full body analyzer which, thanks to the handle that has frequency sensors embedded, can not only measure your weight but also scan your torso, arms and legs and can tell you the body fat and muscle mass in that specific part of your body. Once you scan your body, everything gets tracked in their free app, and now you can set up a goal and the app will guide you through your journey. It shows you not only weight but also body fat and lean mass in different parts of your body like legs and arms, which is super impressive for a home device. You can also connect the app with your phone data like sleep, nutrition and activity like walking steps, and the body analyzer gives you personalized feedback and insights on your health which you can easily understand. Click the link in the description or use my code Felu. My discount code gives you an additional discount on the current Hume sale for up to 50% off total. Thank you, Hume Health. Okay, back to the skyr bread. Feels quite soft, just like the others. The knife goes through smoothly and the inside looks pretty much the same. Nice soft interior and the crust looks good as well. And what about the taste? So, skyr is a bit milder in terms of tanginess and sourness, and so is the bread. I like the Greek yogurt one a bit more because I enjoyed its slight sour taste, but if you don't like that, this one is for you. The macros are 238 calories and 10 grams of protein. Next recipe, once again combine flour, salt and baking powder, give it a stir, and I'm gonna add cottage cheese. This is available as a 1% fat version and has incredible macros, 65 calories and 13 grams of protein. Now, because cottage cheese isn't smooth but made out of cheese curds, you need to make it creamier. You can either use a blender that works fine, or what I'm gonna do is add the cottage cheese into a container and use an immersion blender. Just stick the blender in and blend until you end up with a smooth and super creamy consistency. This takes about a minute. So add 100 grams into the bowl. You can place the leftover in the fridge and use it for an Alfredo sauce if you want. I have a recipe for that on my channel. Add olive oil, then knead and form a dough and let it rest. From here everything remains the same. Oil the sheet, form 2 pieces of bread, cut it open, add sesame seeds and bake for 22 minutes. And once again, the bread looks really nice. After cooling down, it's time to assess. Feels really soft. The knife goes through smoothly as well. It looks just as good as the other ones. Soft inside and nice crust as well. But what about the taste? Look, if you don't like cottage cheese, you won't like this bread, period. I'm not gonna say you cannot taste it, because you absolutely can. The salty sourness of cottage cheese is very noticeable here, but if you like it though, you will love this bread. The macros are 242 calories with 12 grams of protein. Next up, combine flour, salt and baking powder in a bowl. This time we are using fat-free quark. Especially in Europe, this is a very popular dairy product. It has really good macros, 66 calories and 12 grams of protein. It is super thick, even more than Greek yogurt, so I'm curious if this is gonna work. Add 100 grams to the bowl with 4 grams of olive oil and knead into the dough. This already feels super different. It's a lot harder to work with, even more than skyr and Greek yogurt, and it also feels a bit dry. Let it rest, then once again oil the baking sheet, form 2 pieces of bread, cut, add sesame seeds and bake for 22 minutes. After resting, it's time to test. It isn't as soft as the other ones, that's already obvious. It's a bit crumblier and also not as fluffy, and after tasting, it's just like I expected. It works, yes, it tastes like bread, but it's way more sour and it's also dry. It's not my favorite here, but it has good macros, 243 calories and 11 grams of protein. Moving on, for the next recipe, combine flour, salt and baking powder, and now I'm gonna try to use fat-free cream cheese. This has also great macros, 62 calories and 10 grams of protein, but I assumed it would have the worst texture for bread, but hey, I'm here to experiment. So add 100 grams of cream cheese, 4 grams of olive oil and combine it into a dough, and you know what? It works really well. The dough is soft and easy to form, so I'm very hopeful for this one. Let it rest, oil the baking sheet, form 2 pieces of bread, cut sesame seeds, bake for 22 minutes. I mean, it looks promising, that's for sure. After cooling them down, I'm gonna assess them, and what can I say? They feel really great. Very soft, nice go through smoothly, good texture inside, and honestly the best crust of them all. So how do they taste? To be honest, they taste awesome. They are almost no different from normal bread. The taste is nearly identical. I absolutely love this. 10 out of 10. In my opinion, these ones are the best. Macros are 239 calories with 10 grams of protein. So as you can see, you can pretty much use any dairy product you want to make macro-friendlier bread, which is really awesome. I wrote a cookbook with over 250 recipes that helped me and over 10,000 people lose weight. It's got everything from breakfast to lunch to dessert, and even lists things like the best protein sources, lowest calorie condiments and fruits. I constantly update the book with new recipes and you get all of them for free. The link is in the description. It can seriously change your life. Also, I started live streaming daily on Twitch and Kick, so if you want to hang out with me while we watch what's happening in the world, follow my stream. My name is Felu, fit on both platforms and the links are in the description.